Guys, today we're going to be helping you guys learn how to help someone with a spinal cord injury get dressed for their lower extremities. For this example, we'll be helping someone who's a paraplegic get dressed, and usually they'll have a complete spinal cord injury between T9 to L1. In our case, our client has a T11 complete injury. So what we're going to be doing is helping them get dressed, but before we get started with that, there's a couple little tips that we would offer our clients to help them with the process. The first is that the client would always have their clothes out the night before. This is because clients often get dressed in their beds, so we would just encourage them to get the clothes that they want and then put it somewhere accessible, so maybe at their bedside or at a chair beside them that they can reach, just to make that process in the morning a little bit easier. The second thing is that we would encourage clients when they're first learning this skill to have clothing that is very, very loose fitting. This is because they're kind of learning about their new body, and it can be really hard to control their legs while trying to get dressed. So the bigger the better when they're first learning. And then once they've kind of mastered this skill, they can start wearing more tight-fitting clothing, but they should still try to buy clothes that's one size up from what they would usually wear. So what we're going to do is, the first skill that we're going to teach is how to get dressed with bed rails. So they might have bed rails in their hospital, if the hospital bed has rails, and they might also have them at home. So to grade this activity, first we would start with bed rails, and then we would teach the skill without bed rails. So we're going to do that today. So the first thing that Crystal is going to do when she's ready to get dressed in the morning is she's going to grab her pants, and they are conveniently located at her bedside. And what she's going to do is she's going to open her pants up and just basically throw them and drape them over her legs, just to get them in the right spot, exactly for where she needs them. And in our case, we're assuming that the person has some trunk mobility and ab strength. So because she does, she'll be able to sit herself up, which she's going to do now. Perfect. And in our case, she would probably be able to do this by week 4 or 5. So we're assuming that she is well enough to be able to sit up independently to get herself ready. The next thing that she's going to do is she's going to grab one of her legs, doesn't matter which one, and she's going to pull it up closer to her body. Perfect. And she'll basically do that by using one of her arms. And in this time, she can hold her leg, or she can kind of rest it against the bed. The legs will usually just stay where you place them. And while she's using her right hand to support her leg, she's going to use her left hand to basically guide the waist of the pant over her foot and into the pant leg. So she'll be pulling it up and getting basically the bottom of the leg over her ankle. And then what she's going to do with the top of the pant where the waistband is, she's going to pull it up just so it's over the knees. This is because if she pulls it up too high, she's not going to be able to get the other pant onto her other leg. So when she does that, she can put her leg back out. Excellent. And then she's going to go to the other leg. So she's going to get herself in position. She's going to pull this leg back up. Excellent. And then now with the right hand this time, she's going to feed the ankle and foot into the pant leg. Awesome. And the great thing about this for an occupational therapist is we really want to teach them some of the principles. So a principle like, they shouldn't be putting the pants on and then just raking them up over the bum. It should be a slow process where they're still thinking about their skin integrity. And really, after we give them the fundamentals and those principles on how to dress, it's up to the person to make it specific for them. So some people might roll all the way into their stomach and pull their pants up. Some people are going to use the technique that we're using today, which is kind of rolling in 2 ways. And we chose that method because we think that it's going to preserve that person's skin as much as possible. So after she has the pants just above the knee, she's going to lay back down. And as much as she's able, she's going to pull her pants up closer to her hip region. And just kind of slowly being careful to do so. Awesome. Now this is where we get into the rolling, where she's going to be getting the pants up over her bum. And to do this, it's really important that the area that she's pulling the pants up is exposed. She shouldn't be kind of grabbing underneath and yanking up. She should be like clearing some space. So what we're going to do is she's going to first roll to, I guess, her left side. And to do that, to help with that rolling process, she's going to grab her right leg and cross it over her left leg. And this just will help. It puts more weight on the side that she's rolling, and it just helps with some of the momentum. And then once she does that, she's going to lay back down and use the handrail to kind of pull herself up over. Awesome. And then with her left hand holding the handrail for stability, she's going to use her right hand to pull the pant up over her bum as much as she can. Again, just going slowly, making sure that she's comfortable. She does have feeling there, so she is really relying on her hands to guide this process. And then once it's in the right spot, she's going to roll back over. Awesome. And you see here she's using momentum and pushing. And then she's going to do the same thing. So she's going to cross her left leg over her right. Excellent. Lay back down, and then the handrail on this side, she's going to pull herself up. Awesome. And then again, slowly and carefully bringing the pant up over the other side of her bottom. Perfect. And then what she's going to do, she's going to roll herself back over. And once she's in this location, she's just going to make sure everything's in the right spot. And then she would pull her wheelchair up and she would transfer into her wheelchair. So that is how you get dressed using bed rails. Okay, so now to grade this activity, just so that she's kind of a little bit more independent, we're going to pretend that she is on her way home or at home, and she's in her big, plush, king-size bed without her rails, and she still has to get dressed. So the same types of fundamentals as we used before. We want to put the clothes out the night before, somewhere she can reach them, and having clothing that's one dress size above where she's at. So what she's going to do, just like the last time, she's going to grab her pants, and she's going to run through the same process. So she's going to sit up, and she's going to feed both of her legs through her pants. So we'll just let her do her thing. She's gotten a lot quicker now because she's a lower extremity dressing expert. Okay. Again, bringing it up just to where the knees are. Not going above because she doesn't want extra challenge. And at this point in someone's therapy, she is going to be able to lean a little bit further past 90 degrees because she has that trunk control, and she's going to be able to be kind of outside of her center of gravity. So she's a little bit more stable while she's doing this. But again, her upper extremities are really the support for her legs because she doesn't have them. Okay, so she's pulling herself back up. Now, without the bed rails, she's really going to use her momentum to get her going instead of pulling with the bed rail. So, and at this point too, it's kind of up to her whether she wants to put one leg over the other, but whatever is best for her. So she's going to, using her momentum, she's probably going to go to the right side first, and then roll to the left side, just like that. And then, again, slowly feeding the pants up over her bottom. Excellent. And then she'll roll herself back over. Great. And then left to right. Perfect. So as you can see, this process really speeds up because they kind of are a little bit more familiar with what they're doing. And then she'll just make herself comfortable, and she has successfully been able to get herself dressed. So, the first thing that we would recommend is that when they're first learning the skill, they're using shoes that are easy to get on and off. So Crystal, if you can just pass me one of these tennis shoes. This is a great shoe to start with because you can open the shoe up, pull the tongue back, and then you have a lot of room to get the shoe on the foot. We have to remember that they have no feeling in their feet. So you really want a shoe that you can get your foot into easily, and that you can kind of comfortably feel whether the shoe is totally over all of the foot. So this is a really good way to start, and then you can kind of grade up to more challenging shoes that have that smaller opening. So this is what we're going to start with today. So I'm going to give that to Crystal. The other item that we'll use today to help with this process is the shoehorn. Not every client is going to be comfortable with this, but a shoehorn is great because it's going to help guide the heel and the foot into the shoe instead of kind of yanking the shoe over the heel, which could cause skin damage. We're kind of using this to gently slide the foot into the shoe. So the first thing that we're going to do is Crystal is going to grab whatever shoe she wants, and she can balance it beside her, or she can balance it on her lap, just somewhere comfortable. And then with her arm, she's going to pull her leg up onto her other leg, just like this. And once it's here, her leg might just stay here naturally, or she might just need to hold onto it to support. And then what she's going to do is she's going to open up the shoe, opening as much as she can. Perfect. So there's lots of flexibility in the shoe. And she's going to basically put her toes into the shoe, just like you would put on a regular shoe. Perfect. Now this is where the problem comes, because she's having trouble getting her heel into her shoe. She could start to kind of pull, but her leg might fall down and she could hurt herself. And her heel, we want to just protect her skin. So she would have the shoehorn at this point in time. And basically, with the shoehorn, first of all, this is not the right size. This is what we had available, but you probably want a shoehorn that's probably about this size, kind of how Crystal's holding it, a little bit shorter. And she's going to feed this into the shoe, starting from the side and then going to the back. And just kind of holding it there like that, and now her heel has a nice ramp to get the foot into the shoe. And then holding the shoehorn and then one hand on the other foot, she's basically just going to kind of push and hold the shoe and hold the foot and just kind of slowly guide it in, just like that. Perfect. And what we really want to encourage our clients is that there's no perfect way to do this, and the first couple times might be really frustrating. When they first get dressed, a lot of clients say that it can take over an hour. Just keep reinforcing them, reminding them that it's a slow process, but they'll be experts at this eventually. And then once the shoe is on her foot, she's just going to tie her shoe up. Awesome. And then once her shoe is tied, she will just put her foot on her leg right back in that normal position, and then she'll move on to her second foot. And that is how someone gets their whole lower body dressed. Champions, my friend.